This story begins in the kind of darkness money can actually buy. When you walk toward a machine that costs more than a house, you expect perfection, but Rolls-Royce builds something deeper than perfection. They build curiosity. Hidden somewhere inside the Phantom sits a feature so discreet that even longtime owners miss it completely. There are no glowing indicators, no obvious switches, nothing that calls attention to itself. Yet this single detail shapes the entire feeling of modern luxury, controlling the weight of silence, the softness of movement, and the sense that the car is reading your thoughts long before you speak. Its power lies in the decision to hide it. People often talk about the shine of a Rolls-Royce, but very few understand why the surface looks almost liquid. Ordinary factories push cars through paint booths as quickly as possible, chasing efficiency. Rolls-Royce refuses to work at that pace. Their paint process is built on patience. Each layer of lacquer is misted onto the aluminum body, then left alone not for hours, but for entire days. The paint must breathe, release tiny pockets of gas, and settle at its own rhythm. If you rush this stage, you trap microscopic tension inside the material, and months later the surface dulls or chips. By waiting a full week between phases, the layers harden into a smooth, dense skin that needs no excessive clear coat. It is not just glossy. It has depth, the kind of depth that makes reflections look almost alive. It is a finish that only time can create. A factory dedicated partly to waiting sounds absurd, almost wasteful, until you see what it gives them. The light hits the car differently. The body feels heavier, more deliberate, almost sculpted. And that is only the exterior. Once you step inside, the real secrets begin. The cabin feels simple at first glance: clean lines, soft surfaces, nothing shouting for attention. But there is a single control tucked quietly into the interior that changes the entire mood of the car. It is not the start button or the audio controls. It is the switch that activates the privacy glass or electrochromic partition, depending on the model. In most cars, a window is just a divider. In a Rolls-Royce, it is a boundary between two worlds. Pressing that switch does more than blur the outside view. It shifts the personality of the cabin in an instant. The acoustics change. The light softens. The atmosphere becomes private in a way that feels almost theatrical. What makes it remarkable is the way it moves. There is no motor noise, no mechanical vibration. The motion is dampened so carefully that it feels like gravity is being slowed down. That single transformation lets the occupants decide how much of the outside world they accept at any moment. It is not just a convenience. It is a form of control, and control is one of the highest currencies in true luxury. And this small, quiet feature prepares you for the next layer of engineering: the war against sound itself. Rolls-Royce does not try to make the cabin quieter. They try to make it as close to silent as physics will allow. Reducing noise is easy. Eliminating the vibrations that create noise is not. Their engineers redesigned the way the chassis interacts with the road, focusing on frequencies that barely register to the human ear but create fatigue over long journeys. More than 300 pounds of sound-absorbing material is hidden throughout the car, placed in areas most people never even know exist. Even the tires have acoustic foam bonded to the inner lining, capturing tire roar before it can travel into the suspension. The glass is another layer, triple laminated, with a specific thickness of PVB film tuned to cancel mid-frequency vibrations. But the centerpiece of this silent fortress is the engine mounting system. The V12 floats on active hydraulic mounts that constantly adapt to engine torque and road imperfections. They move just enough to counteract any vibration before it reaches the structure of the car. The effect was so successful that the Phantom became unnaturally quiet during development, forcing the engineers to reintroduce a faint, carefully tuned sound so drivers could tell the engine was alive. Sound, in a Rolls-Royce, is not simply reduced. It is curated. And then there is the Spirit of Ecstasy, the most recognizable ornament in the automotive world. People see her as a symbol, but few understand the engineering concealed beneath that small sculpture. Her ability to disappear into the grille is widely known, yet the mechanism itself is a piece of precision engineering that most people never witness. She sits on a stainless steel piston system that reacts instantly to force or attempted tampering. If someone pushes, pulls, or strikes the figurine, the sensors send a signal and she glides downward in a controlled motion that takes a fraction of a second. This is more than anti-theft protection. The assembly is designed to absorb certain impact forces during a frontal collision, acting almost like a micro-safety device. The system constantly monitors her position, even when the car is parked on an incline, ensuring she is perfectly aligned before each drive. It is a feature that combines symbolism, safety, and engineering elegance into one small gesture. Her disappearance is never a panic response. It is a graceful retreat. This is the true nature of a Rolls-Royce. Every part, even the ones you barely notice, is doing something quietly extraordinary.